The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
You're listening to the Sports Scramble podcast, where four friends serve up a weekly plate of sports with a side of SEC bias. Now, here are your hosts, Chet, Jacob, Wade, and Tyler.
Let's go is right. Welcome to this week's episode of the Sports Scramble podcast presented by Belly Up Media. I'm your host, Chet. We got Tyler and Jacob tonight. We were shorthanded last week. We're shorthanded tonight. How are y'all doing?
Doing pretty good. How are you?
Doing good. Jacob, we're rocking the Under Armour shirts together, and Tyler's out here with his Swole Patrol for Life GNC shirt. So try to get big in these winter months. Stay warm. I'm freezing. Yeah. It's 27 degrees where I'm at. It's been 27 all day.
See, you went west, and not only west, you went north. So I looked at the weather today, and I saw that it was a little cold where you were. So I think I'll keep my 70-degree weather over here, muggy. And,
it was 80 here.
Yeah, it was, and it's foggy right now. So yeah, at 8 o'clock at night. So it makes a lot of sense.
We have a winter storm warning going on, and it has a name. Let me find the name for it.
Yeah, they started naming winter storms.
It's like a hurricane.
Storm.
It's a.
I don't know. You might be blowing that out of the water a little bit.
Of course, I said it has a name, and now I can't find the name. I saw the news this morning. What the heck? I'm not in Denver. Where's the name of the storm? Well, we're just gonna call it super cold storm because it's freezing outside. I had to take my trash can to the street tonight. And I walked out, and my gate was frozen solid. It was frozen shut. And so I had to take a hammer, and I had to pick away at the ice until I could open the gate and pull my trash can out. And then the wheels were frozen, so they wouldn't roll. So I just dragged it through the yard to the front. So, yeah, it's been quite a trip. But yeah, we're recording this on Monday night. Wade wasn't able to join us. We wanted to watch the playoff games. Sadly, our boy Joe Burrow couldn't get it done. Bengals couldn't get it done. Had some help from the refs, but the Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles are going to the Super Bowl. We'll get into that in a little bit, but we had a Sports Scramble special the parlay to win all the parlays. We were ready. We were feeling great. We needed Travis Kelce George Kittle to get 4 catches. Was 3 right before we put it in, and it shifted to 4. We need the Eagles to win, the cover, which they did. But our boy, the parlay was over before it started. Kittle only getting 3 catches, had 5 targets, and he dropped 2 of the balls. And I was like, "Come on, man, you're killing us." So I mean, let's just jump right into the playoff talk. What was y'all's reaction to last night's games? I mean, we can't pick a sports parlay. Jacob, yours ruined. Ours was ruined. It was terrible. So, what are your thoughts, Tyler?
Yeah, it was very unfortunate circumstances. We didn't know what was going to happen, especially with Brock Purdy being injured. And now that he's going to be out for the majority of the offseason, it's pretty much like a Tommy John surgery. So he won't be ready.
Completely torn ulnar nerve is what they ended up saying.
It was a UCL injury, and they had to go to Josh Johnson, and he got hurt as well. And they were like, "Screw it, let's just bring in Brock Purdy." They just ran a bunch of jet sweeps. All they did was run the ball. They hardly ever threw it. The only time that they threw it was to George Kittle, and that 2 times, and we were sweating out that pick. But that was just some hard circumstances that San Francisco had to go to. I think that their defense played okay. It didn't really play that I was expecting. I mean, Philadelphia got out to a 21-7 lead early. I mean, San Francisco, their only touchdown was Christian McCaffrey, that 23-yard run. But that one play to really start off Philadelphia on the day, Devontae Smith, that one-handed grab that he made on that 4th and 3, I believe that really set the tone for the Philadelphia offense. And then we saw Miles Sanders get 2 early touchdowns. Boston Scott got a touchdown to put them up 21-7. And after that, it was all Philadelphia. So fly, Eagles, fly all the way to the Super Bowl.
Let's talk about that catch for a second. I don't think it was a catch. Did y'all? I mean, I know they didn't review it. They just rushed up there, ran the next play. After they showed the replay, that ball was moving a little bit when he hit the ground. So, I mean, do y'all agree that was a catch?
I think it was.
I don't know. I've stopped questioning like what happens
Yeah.
on the
The
field now.
NFL doesn't know what a catch is. Let's from the past
Well,
years, nobody
The
knows what
Des
a catch is.
Bryant,
Yeah,
it's one
debacle.
of those situations where it's like you have 6 officials on the field at one time, and
yeah.
it's they can't make a decision, and that's my problem with the NFL. It takes 6 people to make a decision, and they can't even do it. Because you got 4 officials on the field, so the other 2 come into play that are standing on the sideline. There's an official on both sidelines that doesn't. He's like got a jacket on. He doesn't. He's not wearing stripes. But it just it baffles me that some of these calls. I mean, I'll give him a little bit of credit. I can't give him a lot of credit, but the
You can
little
never get the officials credit.
yeah,
Don't do it.
little ounce of credit that I'll give them is that they're faster if they need to change the ruling on the field. Um, as far as those earpieces go, they have in, they're able to say from the booth, "Hey, that's not a catch. It hit the ground. It's not. Oh, let's go to replay review and spend 20 minutes looking at it while we get a whopper. From
Junior Whopper, don't.
yeah, it's like
Look
we
at our
get that.
TikTok. You can see the TikTok we put out.
Yeah,
Yep.
so it's one of those moments. So I think they've gotten a little better at pace, but some bad calls. I mean, in both games.
Yeah, I agree. I saw an interesting graphic on the 49ers. Read it here. Starting back in 2011, lost NFC Championship game. 2012, lost the NFL title game. 2013, lost the NFC Championship game. And then skip a bunch of years. 2019, lost the Super Bowl. 2021, lost the NFC Championship. 2022, lost the NFC Championship. What do you think has to happen for the 49ers to get over that hump? I think this was probably their best chance, if they had a quarterback. My opinion, they should have put Christian McCaffrey in and not Brock Purdy because at least, yeah, they're going to, majority of the plays are going to be run plays, but you can at least throw the ball 5-10 yards. You saw him hurl it 40 yards down the field, even though nobody was anywhere near him, but he at least gave you some sort of shot to like advance because all Eagles had to do was stack the box and expect run. So
Well, I
should
think if
teams travel with 5 quarterbacks now?
no, I think if you said McCaffrey, I think if there's any question in San Francisco's mind what to do in that situation, I probably would have put Debo Samuel in the backfield.
Hmm.
If anybody, knowing he can throw the football and can also run the Wildcat, it gives a different look to Philly. Not that it would have made a whole heck of a lot of difference at that point in the game, but I mean, it's one of those situations where nobody plans for that. No,
Right.
no team ever plans to see 4 quarterbacks go down throughout the season, and it's tough. I mean, the 49ers have people have this questions. Who are the top tier teams in the NFL? I would put the 49ers in a top tier in the NFL. I think they're up there with
Yeah, they're in
a
the
couple of
upper
other teams.
echelon.
I just think that the problem is when they match up against somebody else that's also in that same category as they are, it makes it very different. I mean, they're blowing out teams that you would expect them to keep it close with. San Francisco's a really good team. They're a lot better than they look on paper, and it kind of reminds me of kind of like the Patriot days, like early 2000s days. They weren't high powered offense. It's defensive minded, get after it. I mean, I think that as far as linebacker core goes and defensive line, I think San Francisco has everything that they need. Offensively, Debo's there. You got Ayuk there. Do you have plenty of weapons there? Now that you got McCaffrey too, I
Yeah.
mean, you have everything you need in order to win a championship. And if Trey Lance or Jimmy Garoppolo is healthy, or Brock Purdy is healthy throughout this game, in that situation, we very well could be talking about a completely different story.
Yeah, I understand that, like, yeah, you're on your third string quarterback, you got your backup, but I feel like they should have brought maybe a third string to their third string, because you never know. You should at least have, like, I guess, 3 able quarterbacks on the sideline. And I don't think Purdy coming back out there, yeah, they were down by a lot at that point, but, like, he doesn't give you the best opportunity to make some sort of miraculous comeback. I mean, the dude can't throw the ball at all. Like, put in Debo or CMC, just run some slants routes, some out routes, like just easy stuff. Keep it basic and try to advance the ball down the field and wear the defense out. And frankly, give your defense a break, because for a while they were hanging in there. I mean, it was 7-7 almost till halftime. And then all of a sudden it just started pouring on. So, like,
well,
I
that
think,
Josh Johnson fumble killed them.
yeah.
They killed all the momentum that they had. They could have gone into the locker room break only down by 7, and then they got that Boston Scott touchdown. That was all that she wrote. That's all that really Philadelphia needed. I mean, they could have thrown out Gardner Minshew and still won the game in the second half.
Yeah. Well, their defense was just gassed. I mean, they were on the field all the time.
They're on the field way too many times. Like you mentioned, they pretty much waved the white flag of bringing in Brock Purdy. I mean, the man couldn't even throw. I mean, at that point, I saw that Kyle Juszczyk was the emergency quarterback. I mean, put somebody in who could actually throw the ball down the field. That way you can give at least your defense some time off the field. But, I mean, it was just, honestly, it was an easy victory for Philadelphia considering the circumstances. They had no trouble in that game.
My question is this might sound crazy, but how healthy was Trey Lance before? I mean, is Trey Lance? I've
Jimmy G was.
I heard
he was smiling on the sidelines. What was happening? He was like, "Yeah, y'all made the wrong decision."
It's just
one of those. Do you think they asked one of them to suit up during half, and they both said, "Hell no, bro. We down 14-21."
Especially Jimmy G. I mean, you've been treated like crap over there in San Francisco. I'm not
saw him grinning
ear to
ear.
Yeah. He was enjoying what was happening. I mean, he's gone though. He's going to be on another team.
I wonder, because there was rumors Jimmy G maybe would be available for this game. Like, if that's the rumor, if you're coming in the sideline, you're saying, bro, suit up, which I don't know if you designate somebody as out pregame, you probably can't change their status in the middle of the game.
No, you can't.
No.
But if he wasn't, I'm saying, look, man, we'll cut you a check right now. You put your pads on, you go out there, and when you win us a damn football game, and then we'll let you go wherever you want. You can come back to San Francisco, or you can go play for whoever you want. But I mean, speaking of the quarterback situation, I got a nice rumor for y'all. Juicy rumor. This is like 6th grade gossip, middle school right here. We got an NFL executive, non-49ers associated, said the chatter is that there's a chance they'll trade Trey Lance to the Tennessee Titans, and they'll end up with Tom Brady to play his final year for his hometown team. And then they'll have Brock Purdy as the backup during that time to let him learn, and that he'll take over after Tom's done. What are your thoughts on that?
Man, I mean,
speechless.
It's definitely not
speechless.
It's definitely not. I mean, it's definitely not crazy to see Tom Brady head over to San Francisco. I mean, they have their weapons there. You have Debo, you have Brendan Ayuk, you have Christian McCaffrey. So you pretty much have every playmaker, and you got a pretty dang good defense as well. So I mean, they're already a Super Bowl caliber team. For the Tennessee Titans slate, I mean, Trey Lance wouldn't be as better as having what you have already with Malik Willis and Ryan Tannehill. So that would pretty much be really a non-existent trade. So I don't really see that trade happening. That really wouldn't do anything for the Tennessee Titans. That would do really more for the San Francisco 49ers, even with a 45-year-old Tom Brady. But the 49ers have always been a wackadoodle quarterback. Like I said last show, they can go from one quarterback saying like, oh, we're going to go with Trey Lance this year, and then this year they're going to go with Brock Purdy. So who knows what's going to happen next year? It could be some, rookie quarterback come out of nowhere and be their starting quarterback next year. So you just never know with the San Francisco team. I'm more interested to see where Aaron Rodgers and what he does. I'm definitely hearing some rumors that it's more than likely that the Packers are going to trade him. And yet the Jets are definitely really a big factor since Nathaniel Hackett got hired to the offense coordinator position.
Yeah, I don't see any value in trading Trey Lance to the Titans if I'm the Titans, but maybe they can ship him off somewhere else. And if the 49ers get a chance to get Tom Brady, that's a Super Bowl winner in my eyes. You
Yeah.
got the guy with the experience. You have a Super Bowl caliber team. And if he comes out and says it's last year, that's like a ride off into the sunset. Go to the Super Bowl, probably win the Super
Yep,
Bowl.
win the Super Bowl, and
Yeah,
bye-bye.
and he's done. So,
I'm curious to see how the West shapes, during the off season. A lot of interesting moves, and I think, like today, you heard the rumor that Kellen Moore, would kind of be taking over as the Chargers offensive coordinator, which is very interesting, knowing where they're at, their lack of offense that they had this year. That's going to be an interesting move. I think the Chargers would be a team to look out for. That's if Justin Herbert can, put together a decent season. And their defense was terrible this year. It just didn't make any sense with the guys that they had for their defense to be as bad as it was. I think they're a team to look out for. The Rams just seem like they're in a downhill spiral.
what do you think Matthew Stafford returns as the quarterback next year to the Rams?
No, I don't think so.
Who do you think they go with?
Call me crazy, but I think they stick with Baker Mayfield.
The Bake Show out in L.A.
It's just one of those things. I don't know if Matthew Stafford is gonna play much longer in the league. To be honest with you,
Well, I mean, with his injuries and his, it's
in my
it's like
opinion,
time
after
to
the
just
Super
hang it
Bowl,
up.
after he won the Super Bowl, he should have just called it quits.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm a big Stafford fan, and of what he's done on and off the field. I think him staying very long in Detroit. He earned a lot of loyalty from that fan base, but he wanted to move on, which we all understand. It was kind of it was time. I mean, and of course he's a lot younger than Brady, so it didn't look bad, going to like Brady going to Tampa, but it
Right.
winning a Super Bowl there, like Tyler said, in LA, I think it was probably time after that. Stafford's not old, but he gets beat up and he's had a lot of injuries in the NFL, and be, grateful probably as for where he's at this point in his career. So I could see Stafford hanging it up if he's not a starting quarterback somewhere. I don't see the Rams moving him. It's probably going to be a quarterback battle with Stafford and Mayfield, which is crazy. I don't think anybody ever thought that was going to happen. My biggest question mark in the league, period, the end, is the Seattle Seahawks. I can't wrap my head around it.
Is Geno Smith, isn't he done? Didn't he sign a 1-year contract and he's just kind of riding off into the sunset?
I don't think he's.
Thought I heard that a few months ago that he was just like done.
I don't think he's re-signed, which raises a lot of question marks for me, because the person right behind him would be Drew Lock. Well, we've seen what Drew Lock can do in the NFL. And
he can rap.
It's not very much.
Yeah.
Put him on a sideline for halftime entertainment.
Yeah, so you can keep him out there in his pads to back up Rihanna. But yeah,
for the Super Bowl, throw him out there.
Yeah. So I that's about it when it comes to Drew Lock. But no hate on the guy. I mean, I met Drew Lock, and he's
you and Drew Lock are boys. Are we gonna have him on the podcast?
He's a cool dude. Like
he does seem like a very cool dude.
Like the guy in high school that's like really popular with like everybody. It's one of those. Yeah, sure.
Might have to.
All right. We'll slide in his DMs. Drew Lock, if you're listening, we're very popular in Singapore. I don't know if you like Singapore people. I don't. What do you call people from Singapore?
Singapore is in China.
Yeah, but I'm sure they have their own name.
like
where are we going with this?
Like Singaporean?
We took a complete turn.
Yeah. Hold on, we'll get into NFL talk.
It's not like states. Like it's not like
people from Singapore.
Oh my
Singaporeans. Yeah.
Singaporeans.
Yeah.
Singaporeans.
That's according to Google, it's Singaporeans. Huh.
That's weird.
About 76% of the Singaporean population is ethnically Chinese. Making it the only majority Chinese country outside of China. Singapore's not in China. It's a country.
Singapore
You
is
said it was
part of the
no.
Chinese.
It says Singapore is the only majority Chinese country outside of China, Taiwan, and the cities of Hong Kong. Hold on. We're taking a turn here.
Oh my
Where is
God.
Singapore?
All right, get back to
So
sports.
while Chet's on his geography run here,
Southeast Asia. It's its own country.
you know,
It's not China. Okay.
it's
Sports Scramble. We don't
weird
always
to
just talk about
see,
sports.
Kenneth Walker be the number one running back in Seattle is an interesting spot there. I just feel that there's a lot of opportunity for that team to grow. I'm surprised they made it as far as they did, to be honest with you. And I think a lot of people would say that, giving grades for teams at the end of the year, Seattle is an interesting team.
Hey,
It's just, they did the best that they could with what they had, and Geno Smith played the best season of his career. So I could see Geno returning. I just don't think anybody else can fill that role. I don't see anybody on the available list of quarterbacks out there to say, hey, that guy has a potential in Seattle. Like, I don't think anybody talks about that.
Well,
So
they
they're
may
just my biggest
test their hand in the draft and kind of see what Geno does, One thing we did learn from the early game Sunday was you can't be vandalizing the Rocky statue in Philly. Every team that they've played has hung their own jersey on that statue, and they've just gotten wiped away. So take it, Chiefs fans, don't be flying to Philly and putting a Mahomes jersey on the Rocky statue.
Well, they're coming out with a Rocky 7.
Are they really?
Yeah.
How? He's in Creed now.
Don't ask me. I don't know. But all I heard was that they're going to come out with a Rocky 7.
You're going to keep going until this man's fighting with a wheelchair.
He
might as well be fighting in a wheelchair at this point.
He coaches Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
Creed's on what? Creed 3? Didn't that just come out? Or isn't it coming out? Creed movies are awesome. They're they're something else.
Chet's a boxing junkie.
Yeah, dude. That is like I remember I went and watched it. Shout out Cameron, C-Money AZ on Twitch. We went and watched the first one together. We were both in college still. And dude, I came out of there shadow boxing, like ready to rock and roll, But you don't see me running up the hill, that's for sure. Let's talk about Chiefs and Bengals. Futch, since Tyler kind of broke down the Eagles game, what were your thoughts on the Chiefs Bengals? You had a major parlay that didn't go your way.
I had a major parlay between both games. So everything in the Philly and Niners game went my way because I didn't pick money line. I didn't pick any of that for that game. Now, I felt a little more confident in the AFC game only because I didn't know. Of course, everybody wanted to know the status of Patrick Mahomes, which I'll get to that in a minute because I have an absolute gripe with Tony Romo. But so
hold on real quick on Tony Romo. What did he go from the best analyst in the booth to now he's screaming through your speakers? Like, you got to turn him down when he starts talking. When he gets excited, they got to like mute his mic because the dude is screaming.
Tony Romo's gonna have to buy me a new TV. That's all. like it's
He hasn't been there. He hasn't been so far in the playoffs. That's why he's always excited.
There we go, Tyler.
Yeah.
Tony Romo hate.
But going to the game, my biggest problem with Cincinnati was there was not enough pressure on Patrick Mahomes. There just wasn't. And I don't know if that's a credit to KC's offensive line or Cincinnati just could never dial up pressure. I mean, if you get Mahomes in pressure, he can't run. I mean, we saw that very clearly. I mean, it was just that was the biggest problem. And then my other problem was Cincinnati's secondary. There were so many holes in the defense
talking to you
that it was just like, why is Kittle why is Travis Kelce that wide open?
Yeah,
it was just one of those things where I don't.
They were playing with their four-string wide receivers, just double Kelce.
They had
don't put Eli Apple near him. Don't put him anywhere near Kelce.
Well, Kelce wasn't even healthy, so basically
he's just toast at this rate.
Yeah, and it was just it didn't make any sense to me. Neither team really ran the ball well.
No,
I just think that it was an all-out quarterback battle at that point, and both actually looked pretty bad. I mean, both quarterbacks didn't play very well under the circumstances. It's hard to play in that weather, but I mean,
I'd almost rather
Cincinnati,
be playing in snow than cold, wet,
right?
like rain.
It's
Because
just
then
hard. I mean, the ground's like cement.
yeah.
So yeah, that was my thing. Just too many opportunities for Kansas City, and in the end, they ended up winning the game. But as far as the second half goes, officiating wise, a lot of problems. Um, one like calls that were bad, and then it was just blown calls.
Mm-hmm.
It was a mixture of both. I mean, it was, well, I didn't call it there, so let me call it here kind
Yeah.
of thing. And to make up for the fact that I didn't call it back there, last drive.
The
But
redo on third down.
yeah, the redo on third down because an official wasn't ready. That just didn't make any sense to me. I was a little.
You can blow the play dead. Like,
Sure.
you can run out there and start acting a fool, and
But the thing
another
about it was
official will see you.
the official came back on the field and didn't make it known that they wanted to redo the play. I mean, he came back on the field as Mahomes is in the backfield, and
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so what's the problem here? Like, I
They
mean,
could stop the play.
nobody even ran down that side of the field. Anyways, it's not like the ball was thrown to that side of the field,
Mm-hmm.
and there was no official there. It was just had just come back onto the field, and the ball wasn't even thrown in that direction. It had nothing to do with that official, and that would have had no impact on the play. But Kansas City ended up extending the drive. I mean, nothing came out of that drive, but
It burns the
still,
clock.
still they
you
burn
know?
clock. Yeah, I mean, you basically burn another couple minutes off the clock.
Worst
and a
worst
lot can
field
happen.
position for the Bengals because they
Sure.
sacked them the play after or something. I don't totally remember.
Well, they
but
took the holding penalty and they backed him up inside the 10-yard line.
Yeah.
And they got to go down the field. They basically go down the field, and then Burrow throws a pick.
Mhm.
Yeah, and
Which
that's another thing.
that's
Burrow,
a very unfortunate interception there.
yeah,
Yeah.
Burrow forced a lot of stuff into double coverage. I mean,
Yeah.
he got lucky with the Jamar Chase deep pass. But
And the Higgins,
that's
that was just a crazy
with
catch.
the Higgins, and but there was a pass to Tyler Boyd and another one to T. Higgins. I mean, both of them were terrible decisions by Burrow to throw the ball there. Knowing what you have out there. I mean, you have great receivers out there, and I mean, Kansas City had 3 starters in the secondary that were rookies,
Mhm.
and you made them look like vets out there. That was just my problem with Cincinnati. And getting to Tony Romo, my problem with Tony Romo is that this is football, Tony Romo. We're playing football. See, the ball is not round. It is shaped kind of. I don't have an immediate football right here. They're way up there, but it is not round. So
It is
you
shaped
referencing
like a
pigskin. You referencing Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson throughout the telecast, nobody cares because most people that are probably watching that.
He kept going back to the flu game. I was like, dude, he's got a high ankle
This
sprain,
guy, like,
and he's clearly fine.
Yeah, like Matthew Stafford threw a game-winning touchdown when he played in Detroit with a separated
Hey, Brock
shoulder.
Purdy's out there throwing
like-
2-yard passes with a
Yeah.
torn shoulder nerve.
Yeah.
He
I'm
threw
like-
2 of them.
It's one of those where it was so blown out of the water, and I'm like, seriously, this guy.
That was the narrative.
If NFL commentary doesn't work out for him, later on in the future when he gets to Jim Nance's age, I think that he has a future if Jesse Palmer decides to fold up on The Bachelor. He definitely could be the dramatic host of The Bachelor in the future, because maybe he'll get farther because he'll make it to the final rose ceremony in The Bachelor because he's never made it to the Super Bowl. So he'll make it a little bit farther doing that.
Romo to The Bachelor. Let him host
Damn.
The Bachelor and The Bachelorette.
He's going to get
Who
traded.
needs what was his name that got canceled? The original host.
Shoot. Was
Chris-
it Chris?
Chris Harris. Yeah, Chris Harrison.
Yeah, Chris Harrison. Yep.
Yeah, I mean Tyler and I should know that we didn't spend 3 semesters of college watching The Bachelor and Bachelorette religiously. We were in a Bachelor fantasy league. Okay,
Let's go.
We would pick girls each week, and you would get points based on if someone cried, if someone cussed somebody out, if someone got a rose or kissed somebody.
The first
rose was like 25 points.
Yeah.
If you pick
and the
girl,
final rose was like you win.
yeah. If you pick the girl at the beginning of the season who got the first rose out of the whole thing, you got like 200 points total. And it wasn't a week to week thing. It just occurred over the season. So I mean, we put money on it. Wade, Tyler, and I, my wife, Wade's fiance, Liz, Mallory, Chu, all of them. We were like 8 of us were in a league. We were in a fantasy league for The Bachelor, and it was some intense stuff, man. I had to stop watching it because I was like, this is so scripted. I mean, it's just like the NFL. Script writers in The Bachelor, script writers in the NFL with all the penalties. They wanted Golden Boy Patrick Mahomes to get back to the Super Bowl because, I mean, think about it. Everybody loves Joe Burrow, but he's like the villain in the NFL. He's too young.
You know the name of the stadium that they're playing in, right, too? State Farm Stadium.
Oh my gosh. This is a State Farm dream. I bet you State Farm paid so much money to get Patrick Mahomes to the stadium to get his Patrick price. This is too good to be true. This is script writer right here.
So, speaking of script writing, my instant thought was, if Tony Romo for The Bachelor, like dramatic moments, like when it's really quiet and or something, and Tony Romo
he'll just scream,
screaming.
He'll just start screaming
with his CBS jacket on. Like it's like, bro, really? It's like,
I saw somebody tweet, it was like, Tony, chill. I'm right here. I can hear you. Because he gets so excited.
Jim Nantz, if he doesn't have hearing problems now, he will in the future because it is so bad. Like they're gonna have to put plexiglass, like like when somebody has the drums at an outdoor concert, they have to put the plexiglass around him or whatever. They're gonna have to do that with Tony Romo. They're gonna put him in a box. Just put him in a plexiglass box.
It's gonna be like the COVID when they were announcing they had the screen in between them. They're gonna do that just for Tony Romo. But I mean, I've seen some wild conspiracy theories on the refs sucking these past couple weeks. And a lot of it has led to, since sports betting has become legal in a lot of states, the officiating has gone down the drain. So, Tyler, do you think there's some tampering going on? Some of these refs are padding their pocketbook?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, when it comes to these big games, I feel like these refs are just taking over and they're controlling most of the game. And for the Kansas City Chiefs side, I think that, on the defensive side, Chris Jones had a heck of a game. He had really had some timely sacks, especially that last drive that Cincinnati had that sack.
Tony Romo was all over that. He was like, Chris Jones, the pregame, he told me he regretted the 2 sacks he missed last year. And he's got the chance to end the season. Here we go, folks. And he gets these like, oh my gosh, Chris Jones is the new Aaron Donald. I mean, it was losing his mind. It was crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. And then on the offensive side, I got to give credit to MVS. I mean, he had a heck of a game. I mean, he really was the go-to target outside of Travis Kelce. He really made some big catches to really flip the field for that Chiefs offense. But yeah, you got to feel it for the guy for Cincinnati, Osai. I mean, it was a 15-yard penalty. I mean, it was a little push. I always hate that. I mean, if you're going to do a 15-yard penalty, especially in that moment, I mean, that pretty much won the Chiefs the game with that call. If you're going to call that, I mean, it has to be like way more of a push than it was. But I just hate the refs. I've always hated the refs since the 2018 NFC Championship game. I definitely Bengals fans, welcome aboard. Getting screwed in a championship game.
Well, let me tell you this. I think Patrick Mahomes is probably falling down and sliding into the bench, regardless if he touches him or not, because at that speed he was running on a bum ankle.
I mean, his ankle was hurting already.
And the guy's running. That's what I've always said. He's running.
It was some momentum. So how is he going to stop? How can he stop?
And he didn't even push him. You could tell he tried to check up.
And it's very loud in that stadium. So you can't hear a whistle or anything.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I don't
know.
I just feel like you just.
I'm okay with the call if he puts both of his hands on him and pushes him. I'm okay with the
Yeah. I
call.
I think they need
But
to
when
change
his
that
right
penalty to that.
forearm is just like
Yeah.
on his back
I
and
mean,
Mahomes goes down,
in the rule book, yes, it's a right call, but I just feel like they need to really treat this offseason, look at that rule. Same with the roughing the passer. Roughing the passer has gotten really, really soft, especially whenever Tom Brady gets hit. I feel like you just sneeze on him, and it's like, okay, we got to throw it on him. They sacked Tom Brady.
Well, there was probably a roughing the passer that they missed on Burrow down on the far end when he threw the pick.
They missed a couple of block in the backs holdings on both teams, too.
Yeah, I mean, the block in the back on the punt return by Sky Moore.
What set up that drive?
Was awful. I'm like,
there was 3 of them. There was 3 of them.
Yeah, if that's called, they're starting at their own 15, not the 50.
It's probably going into overtime.
They're not making it in 30 seconds.
It's going into overtime. Jacob's parlay is cashing because Joe Burrow's throwing another touchdown,
and the over is hitting most likely.
Exactly. So the worst was in my mind was the non-call on the roughing the passer, which I don't like roughing the passer calls. Like you said, Tyler, they've been super soft, but he threw the ball and then is watching the play and then he just gets hit. Like you can make the call, say, oh, momentum. Well, I think the late hit and the roughing the passer needs to be changed to he puts 2 hands on somebody and makes a push.
It has to be a malicious act. That was not nothing. He literally just pushed him down.
And he didn't have 2 hands on him. He had like a forearm. So if he's pushing him, then you call it. But I don't know. We can go back and
forth. You just got to feel for the guy. I mean, he's gonna have to live with that for the rest of the offseason and going into the next season.
And then you got your own teammate, the linebacker, screaming at him.
He did apologize. I just saw something pop up on ESPN that he's sorry for his actions. So I mean, there was a lot of emotion. I mean, I would have been probably that way too.
Yeah,
just blaming the guy. But I do feel like a lot of his teammates did a really good job having his back.
Mm-hmm.
My closing statement of it all is this is to Cincinnati for the Bengals. If you listen, you might actually win the Super Bowl. You might win the Super Bowl.
Cincinnati from the Bengals. That's what he said. Sorry, go ahead.
Please, it is offensive line. Go get an offensive line. That's all you need. You have everything you need.
I mean, they do, but 3 of their starters were hurt.
Yeah,
They're awful.
San Francisco and Cincinnati, learn this.
Awful.
Depth at your most crucial positions. For Cincinnati, it's offensive line. For San Francisco, it's quarterbacks. Just
Trent Williams was out there, put freaking chokehold in a guy.
Yeah. Dude, put him in the WWE.
He dragged that dude. And how did he get ejected too? The person that got pile driving into the ground, he got ejected. I was like, what is going on? He did nothing.
They were just throwing flags.
That was another call that I did not get. Like, how the heck did he get ejected?
If his glove was stuck in like Deebo Samuel's mask or something, in his face mask, because they weren't separating, and it wasn't one of those where they're yelling at each other. It looked like they were like stuck, and then Trent Williams is like, "Oh hell no!" And just picks him off. That's a big dude. And you had
hello and goodbye to anyone that stands in John Cena's way.
Yeah, that was and then you got like George Kittle running up to like protect him, like try to push him away, and he's like, towering over
Kittle.
Slow
down, boss.
Yeah, so I mean, it was. I think we were disappointed with the first game, but the second game definitely made up for it in terms of like the game. And it's going to be one heck of a Super Bowl. We'll get into like our preview next week. I think it's going to be a good Super Bowl.
I don't know.
We'll get into our preview next week.
You know what? I'll say it right now. I'm not going to watch it.
You're not going to watch it?
No, I'm not going to watch it.
Well, you are. We're having a watch party for it. You're going to be on here with us.
Number one, I dislike Philly a lot. Just Philly in general. I no thank you. I'm sorry.
Well, then root for the Chiefs. We'll get some live bets on the Chiefs.
No, because I don't like Patrick Mahomes.
No thanks. Y'all can.
Andy Reid eats too many cheeseburgers for my liking. Gives me indigestion. I don't like it. It's not a good enough Super Bowl for me. I just
I
I
think
don't
we're all
think they
just
were the
heartbroken
best
because we
two
love the
teams this
Bengals.
year. There just weren't the best two teams this year. I mean, maybe Philly's the best team in the NFC,
Yeah, I
but
agree.
the AFC
Philly,
wise,
yeah.
I don't think the Chiefs were the best team. It just they got a gift when they ended up playing Jacksonville, and Jacksonville just wasn't up to par. That's if they play a different team in the wild card or in the divisional series, I think we're talking different story.
Well, we'll break it down next week. But the Eagles are a small favorite right now. I think it was like -2 was
Yeah, it was
the
two
spread.
and a half.
Yeah. So I'm sure that'll shift as the weeks go on.
I think it's going to get bigger.
Yeah,
It's probably
I
going to
mean,
close at
it's
4, 5, 4,
yeah.
4.5.
They
Yeah.
gave it
Eagles.
to him because Terry Bradshaw decided to ruin their ceremony, which I'm so happy about. I am happy that Terry Bradshaw made a fool out of himself and ruined their trophy presentation. That is fantastic.
Well, you know who's not going to make a fool of himself is anybody playing in this flag football game we got going on next week for the Pro Bowl. I don't know if they should have just canceled it. I mean, I guess flag football would be kind of cool. There's really minimal risk of injury. That was a terrible segue, by the way. I didn't know what to say after that. But let's jump into the Pro Bowl real quick. I'm excited for the skills competitions. I'm excited for the long drive to see some of these guys step up and see who can hit a golf ball the farthest. I think that'll be pretty cool.
You know who my pick is?
Who's that?
Freaking DK Metcalf is gonna hit the living tar out of something. Like,
Can he hit a golf ball though?
I don't
it's
know.
hard to make one fly straight. I'm going like
If
Josh Allen.
If DK Metcalf or AJ Brown could hit a golf ball, if they can, it's going a long way. He's like,
Actually, my pick's gonna be Aaron Rodgers. We saw him in the match. He was driving it like 300 yards. I don't know how many guys in the NFL can hit one straight.
Aaron Rodgers going to the tour. He's hanging up his football hat.
Going to live. Aaron
going
Rodgers
to
would be
LIV.
the perfect candidate for live golf. Okay.
I would
Be
love
right
it.
there with Phil Mickelson.
That would bring so many eyes to live golf. Look, Aaron Rodgers, you need to talk to somebody, get your people to talk to their people. I bet you they throw a bag at them, couple, like probably $60-70 million for a two-year contract. Just throw them on there. I mean, yeah, you can pair them with one of those other teams like DJ where they, just replace what's his name? Pat Perez with Aaron Rodgers is probably the same skill set at this point because Pat's just done. He's just cashed in. He's like, I'll shoot 85 every round. We're
Pat
gonna
just
win.
drinks now. I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of just
Aaron Rodgers to live golf. That's the way to go.
Hey, if Aaron Rodgers goes to LIV Golf, Pat McAfee has to be a commentator for LIV Golf.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
I'd watch
Oh
that.
my gosh, that would be.
See, I would be a fan of Liv if they made that higher.
What
And if Rodgers went over there too.
Hire Pat McAfee. I mean, there's a lot of politics involved. He may not want to do it considering who's backing the LIV Golf Tour. But Aaron Rodgers to LIV Golf, Pat McAfee to be the announcer. Dude, we're talking about like they're overtaking the PGA Tour at that point. It's not even a question in terms of viewership. You telling me you wouldn't watch sleeveless Pat McAfee on the 18th green on a 54 holes? This is only 54 to win the tournament. He would go ballistic.
I would watch Pat McAfee commentate assisted living bocce ball. I mean, like there are some things like that. I don't care what it is. But if Pat McAfee is the commentator,
Okay.
I am.
We need to do like top 5 sports commentators, right? Okay, let's do that right now. Top 5 sports commentators right now. Go.
Pat McAfee number 1, RG3 number 2. I'm giving Tony Romo number 3, Jim Nantz number 4.
I thought you just ragged on him for like 20 minutes and you put him in your top 5.
He's very happy. Okay?
I mean, he's very good.
And Kirk Herbstreit number 5. I used to hate Kirk Herbstreit, but I love him now.
You love him now?
Yeah, I hated him in NCAA 14. When my dude would throw a pick and he's like, "Oh," or he'd drop an interception. Hey, he was asking to play offense in practice. Go-to Kirk Herbstreit line in NCAA 14. But yeah, there's my 5. McAfee, RG3, Tony Romo, Jim Nantz, just because he's legendary, and Kirk Herbstreit.
It's a pretty good list.
Futch, who you got?
Oh, I've got great for you. One is probably Kirk Herbstreit for me. Two is Pat McAfee. If Pat McAfee keeps it up, he'll be my new number one. Number three is Joe Buck. I love me some Joe Buck. It is.
I think
great.
people have very different opinions than Joe Buck.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people don't like him, but I'm one of those. Like he has a really good baseball. Like he really had some
Yes.
great World Series
Yes,
calls.
I mean he is a great baseball guy. Jim Nance is probably on that list for me as well. Just iconic.
Al Michaels, number 6. Little backdoor on there.
I don't know about Al Michaels.
He's
I'll
getting out of
probably
his.
Unfortunately, my number 5 is probably going to be Bob Costas. It's just like the old days of Bob Costas. Like it's just, there's some good ones.
Okay.
I don't know. There's certain people that I like that aren't commentators that talk, but then there's people I just absolutely hate.
Tyler, who's the guy that was on with Greg McElroy, or what was it, Greg McElroy? They called LSU Bama.
What's his name? Joe Tessitore. He's the guy
He's
that is
a
like
legend.
the most dramatic.
God, I hate that guy.
I love him when
awful.
LSU's winning, but when they're losing, I hate him because he's like just
Well,
over the other team.
I think he called 2 of the losses.
Yeah, Tyler, who's your top 5?
I think my first 2 has to be Kirk Herbstreit and Chris Fowler. I feel like that's like the best duo. Like every Saturday night, I think that Chris Fowler, it's like there's like 1A and 1B. Number 3, I'm going to go to the NBA, is Mike Breen. I don't know. It's Bird.
Not Jimmy V.
Oh, my gosh.
Or Dickie V. What's his name?
Yeah, Dickie V's
you hate Dickie V. Don't lie.
Well,
we all know you hate
for all the Will Wade stuff. Number 4 is an up and coming guy. Is Joe Davis of Fox. He's pretty good. He's kind of taken over the Joe Buck, and I have number 5 as Joe Buck. I mean, I don't hate the guy. I think he's a very good. Like the World Series calls, that's whenever like he was his best.
Well,
dude, I swear, like Scott Van Pelt has a personal vendetta like for Joe Buck. Like it's awful. Like they're buddies, but they just absolutely rag on each other. And like Troy Aikman's like that little guy that like stands there and's like, I have no idea what's going on, but I'm just gonna sit here and laugh. Like it's one of those.
Well, speaking
Kevin
of
Harlick is probably 6 for me. Like he's like right outside of it.
Yeah.
Like I was listening to the Philadelphia and San Francisco game on the radio, and whenever Christian McCaffrey to the 20 to the 10 5 touchdown, Christian McCaffrey. He made like some like other one. I don't know if it was like one quote, but like I don't know. I forgot what it was. It was like I don't know. I can't remember it. It was pretty.
Why? So you mean to tell me Mike Tirico's not on your list at all?
No.
Who's terrible? It was a few weeks ago. The first playoff game. It was like Tony Dungy and
jeez.
Who was he paired with? It was just like a snooze fest. It was bad.
Brad Nessler.
I hate it because
I don't know who it was. It was Tony Dungy and somebody else.
It was like no emotion. I remember they had like a long touchdown run.
See, like whenever there's a big play, you gotta show some emotion. You can't just be like, "Oh, they won the football game, and there they go on to the Super Bowl."
We missed a legend. We missed a legend, dude.
Who?
Vern Lundquist.
The
absolute legend, Vern Lundquist.
John Madden. Anybody?
John Madden.
I guess we're talking about people nowadays, but yeah.
I was saying as of now.
Yeah. I'm not even going to go through my most hated ones because this will go on forever.
We're number 1, Gary Danielson.
Yes.
No, my absolute.
Oh, we already know yours is.
Person in sports, the end is Stephen A. Smith. Like it's nobody else.
I thought you were going to go with Gus Johnson, but okay.
Yeah, Gus Johnson is a close second. They both are awful. They suck. Like, they might as well just get a prison cell together and just stay in there for the rest of their lives because I hate them so much. I don't want to hear another word come out of their mouth.
Well, you know what you can do is you can get you some Eagles or Chiefs gear over at Fanatics. You use our link fanatics.n3. I messed that up. Rewind. fanatics.93n6tx.net/sports scramble. Head on over there. You got AFC and NFC championship gear live now. And then you can be there lurking if you're feeling confident for the Super Bowl. Get some Super Bowl gear. Eagles and Chiefs. One of them's gonna win it. It's like gambling.
If you want Eagles merch, it basically is prison gear. I don't know. It's the same thing.
Futch hates
there goes all our
Philadelphia.
Eagle fans.
Yeah, there goes our Eagles listenership.
It's prison around.
We might have lost a lot of Chiefs fans too, since all of us picked the Bengals. They're probably gonna roast us now.
It's okay. There's not that many people in Kansas City, anyways.
If you want a Bengals jersey, you could probably get it for pretty cheap right now. So head on over to our Fanatics link, support the show, fanatics.93n6tx.net/sports scramble. Help your boys out. We could go forever for football, but we got to talk about the disgrace that is the Memphis Grizzlies. No, actually the New Orleans Pelicans. The Grizzlies snapped their losing streak. The Pelicans
they're not that big of a disgrace.
Have fallen from the number 1 seed in the Western Conference to the play-in game. Tyler, you're at all the home games. You're working for them. Are you going to suit up next for the Pelicans to get us a dub?
I might have to. I mean, it's just a brutal stretch that they're going through. I mean, they're not playing like some cupcake teams in the NBA. They're playing the Milwaukee Bucks. But, I mean, they couldn't even beat the Wizards as well. And if you are not ever entitled to the NBA, the Pelicans are on an 8-game losing streak. And the main problem was that losing Zion and losing Brandon Ingram. And if you're a fan of any New Orleans team, this is not really a thing new to you. It feels like every season, whether football or basketball, there's always at least one of our superstars hurt every year. We can't have like a 82 game stretch nice. Where can't have everything nice. But I don't know. It's definitely a fall from grace. Hopefully the boys can get it going here, especially after the All-Star break. Definitely don't want to be in the play-in again. Definitely want to get to that at least 6 seed. You're not too far of it, but you're also a game ahead of everybody below you. The 11 seed, so you definitely don't want to get too far behind and miss the playoffs completely.
My first initial thought, Chet, you said Tyler shooting up for the Pelicans. My first initial thought was Tyler's going to be the second rendition of Bow Wow in Like Mike.
Yes.
That was like
we're going to get him some cornrows somehow. And he's going to
immediate thought. Like, absolutely. Like Tyler just lace them up like some Zion ones and get out there and just start dunking like Zion.
We've sat courtside before, so this time he'll just be in a jersey. Futch, your Grizzlies have snapped their 5-game losing streak last night with a 12-point win over the Pacers. Are things looking up for the old Grizz?
I think so. It's getting guys back healthy. Had a lot of problems. I mean,
the name of the game right now.
Steven Adams is out for the foreseeable future with his PCL strain, which is bad on the rebounding side of things. But as far as scoring goes,
just give Ja the ball. He'll figure it out.
As far as scoring goes, I think
if you're watching last night,
it's moved around really well. There's a lot of scoring opportunities around for all the guys, and I think the Grizzlies are the perfect example of a team with a lot of role players and guys just know their role and they do the role and they win games. I mean, I think that the Grizzlies have a chance to win the Western Conference, be the first number 1 seed in the Western Conference at the start of the playoffs. I think it's totally possible if they stay healthy. So I just think that the Nuggets, they are a team that runs through Nikola Jokic. I mean, if Jokic doesn't play, they don't win. I mean, it's one of those, kind of like Giannis with the Bucks. It's the same thing. If he doesn't play, they don't win. LeBron with the Lakers. If he doesn't play, they don't win. I mean,
they don't win when he plays.
Yeah, they don't win when he plays either. I mean, it's just, I think there are teams that are the good teams with role players are going to make it there. I mean, the Warriors aren't they're good. And the reason they won championships aren't just because of Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. It's also because they had good role players come off the bench. I mean, it's just one of those things where, young coaches are coming in and creating good all-around teams to compete for titles. And I'm enjoying it.
So we mentioned LeBron. We had the
Oh
blatant
God.
missed call shooting
Oh
foul there.
God.
It was in overtime. Did the Lakers end up winning that game in overtime? No,
No, the
No,
Celtics
no.
won.
Yeah.
Well, my thing was, it went to overtime. You had a chance to win it, and you still pouted like the rest of the time. Like, it was one of
Yeah.
those things where it's like, well, even if LeBron ends up making that layup, I still think there's time for the Celtics to score. It's just like, really? And then the best move of it all was Patrick Beverly walking over with a $3,000 camera to put it in the official's face and say, "Look, dude, he was fouled," and then tease him up immediately. Like,
Yeah.
he teed him up. I would have just tossed him at that point. I would have said, "Look, you don't do anything for this team. You just sit there and run your mouth. See you later." It was just
that was a bold move by Pat Beverly, but if
Yeah.
anybody's gonna do it, it's gonna be him.
It's Beverly. I hate that guy.
Speaking of LeBron, I got a little tidbit for y'all. Top 10 NIL deals. Bronny James, #1 in the country, high school and college, at $7.5 million. Dude's not even signed. He's not even
Yeah, he's
signed
not
to
even.
college yet. $7.5 million is what he's making as a high school student. That's crazy.
Is he actually going to go to college?
He needs to donate.
Or is he just going to go straight to the NBA?
Well, it's got to go to college, or he's got to go somewhere. I think
Ohio State, here he comes.
I think he plays a year and then he's gone. Yeah.
If he goes to Ohio State, it doesn't make a lick of.
That's where he's going.
He's stuck. They're awful.
That's where he's going.
Like,
can y'all guess #2 on the top 10 NIL 100? Also, someone who has not. I guess he's started college, but has not played it down yet.
Yes. Oh, so it's football.
Yes.
It is Arch Manning.
You are correct. 3.7 million. Bronny James is making double what Arch Manning is making. And both of those guys.
Money goes a little farther in Texas than it does.
Yeah. He's going to pass him. He's going to pass him the next couple of years.
What's crazy is both those guys are getting that much money based solely on their last names. I mean, they haven't played in college yet. Number 3 and 4, they both have the same last name. You got Mikey Williams at 3, playing for the Memphis Tigers, $3.5 million, and Caleb Williams at 4, $3.2 million. Then we got our girl. We mentioned her a few weeks ago, LIV Dunn, $3.2 million over at LSU.
She's gonna outpace everybody. Like
totally.
She has to outpace everybody.
Maybe besides like Bronny James, just because it's LeBron's kid.
Well, if he goes to Ohio State, then he'll outpace her. Then she'll outpace her.
I feel like Arch Manning is going to be #1 by the time that list.
Really?
Wraps up.
Yeah. Plays.
Nah, I think if
he's going to get a Lamborghini deal like Bijan Robinson got.
Well, yeah, and then he'll get it stolen from him, kind of like a lot of people do.
Yeah.
They get their crap stolen from them.
At #6, we got Shadur Sanders. What's his name's son? Deion's son.
Higher.
What? And it drops off
too on the namesake.
3.2 million at LIV Dunn to 1.6 at Sanders. It like cuts in half.
And then it hurts so much.
Only 1 million.
He's making the same amount of money as Marvin Harrison Jr. is at 1.6. And then you got, what school is this? Hansel Emmanuel. 1.5. I don't even know this logo.
Wait, what? Let me see this.
Show us the logo. Let's see if we can guess.
I don't know.
What number is it?
I'll text it to y'all. It's not.
This better not be this better not be like the most one of the more known colleges. You don't.
I've
even know
seen it, but I can't remember the name of it.
Duquesne. Which one is it?
#8.
That's Northwestern State's logo.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money for someone playing in Northwestern State.
Yeah, in Natchitoches, Louisiana. Like, how the heck is he making that much money in that little town?
Northwestern State is in northwestern Louisiana?
Yeah, it's some.
Oh my gosh!
No name. Yeah, Natchitoches, Louisiana. It's literally in the middle of nowhere.
1.5 million to go.
I get Suni Lee's on there. I mean, she was in the Olympics, so I mean, I bet she's getting like still Olympic. And then Drake May doesn't really surprise me either.
Drake May at 1.3 is a bit odd. Like I thought there would be a lot more people in front of Drake May. Like at 1.3, that's kind of weird to me.
Oh, Keyshawn Booty could have been up there if he.
I'm shocked that Mikey Williams is number 3.
Yeah, the Big G can't get one of our players on this list.
I bet you Jade Daniels is going to be pretty high next year if he balls out like we all think.
Especially if he wins the Heisman.
Imagine if Joe Burrow was
oh my gosh, he would have broke the NIL record. People from every company would have.
Cartier, done deal. Cigar companies, done deal. Every company in Baton Rouge would have been all over him. Every company in Ohio would have been it would have been insane. Probably over 10 million. Easy. Speaking of LSU, we got women's basketball. Tyler, did they win? Did they beat Tennessee?
They got the dub 76-68.
Number 3 team in the country, baby. They take on South Carolina next Monday. Is that right?
Yeah, I believe it's next week. They got Texas A&M, and then I believe it's the 12th. So I think it's got to be the Sunday game that they have against South Carolina.
They're playing I don't know. Super Bowl Sunday?
They might be the day after then. I don't know if they would compete with the Super. I don't know. Talk so I can look it up.
The 12th is a Super Bowl Sunday. I think they play on Saturday.
I don't know. Just keep talking. I'm going to look.
Or they play the morning of the Super Bowl.
Well, they don't play the Monday. Let's see here.
Yeah, I mean, we got the 2 of the top. Who's number 1 in the country? Is it South Carolina?
South Carolina. South Carolina's 1. Stanford is number 2 in the country.
Right. Yeah, LSU's 3.
They actually play. Yeah, they play on Sunday, the Super Bowl Sunday, but they're going to play at 1:00. So it'd be like out a little bit out.
Dang it! I was wishing it was at the same time.
And hey, speaking of the Super Bowl, we did mention earlier we're tossing around the idea of a live watch party, so we'll throw some stuff up on Twitter. Make sure you're following us at Sports Scramble 4 to get notified of that, and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so you get notified when we go live. Sports Scramble podcast on YouTube.
Game than the national championship.
It's opposite on my screen, Jacob. It's down there.
It's over here for me.
Yeah. So, yeah, hopefully we have a much better game than our national championship live watch party. But, hey, we had a ton of people in there. So, appreciate all the fans coming out. You know what? Live watch party brought to you by our friends at Yeti. We'll go ahead and throw them out there. Yeti, free shipping on orders, $50 and up. Stockable coolers, drinkware, and luggage. Durable enough for any adventure, like an adventure to Arizona for the Super Bowl. Who knows? Go to yetius.pxf.io.
Spending $5,000 for nosebleeds.
Yes.
Now just get out halfway and go back. Just turn around.
yetius.pxf.io/scramble. Spend your $5,000 on Yeti coolers, not Super Bowl tickets.
That's a lot of Yeti coolers, man.
That is a lot of Yeti coolers. It depends on the size of your cooler, but yeah, we'll throw together a little watch party. We're actually, Wade's gonna be racing home from his bachelor trip.
We won't be racing home anymore now that the Bengals are out.
That's true. Yeah, I don't think he'll be joining us for a watch party, but you'll have the 3 of us. You'll have the true scramble, and Wade may tune in and out.
Wow, that's rough. Our host is taking shots at our co-host.
No, he's sending to a family matter right now, so don't want to take too many.
He's not even on here in your bathroom.
You got the St. Patrick's trio, baby, all the way back to high school.
Let's go.
Shoot, elementary school for me and Futch.
Elementary school for me.
But yeah, so we'll put that on Twitter. We'll have our friends over at Belly Up Media throw it out. Tune in for the Belly Up pregame show. I know they got a pretty big watch party going on over at Belly Up Sports. Last thing I got for y'all tonight, TMZ Sports segment of the week, and that's brought to you by our friends at Piper Golf. Pipe your drives with Piper golf balls. Head on over to piper.golf. You can go to our Sports Scramble link, or you can use Sports Scramble 10 for 10% off tour quality balls at a non-tour quality price. I've got some balls coming out to Wade for his bachelor party. We'll see if he can hit them straight. If he can, then everybody needs to buy them.
Yeah, we need some video proof of this.
Sorry, Wade. I just keep taking shots at him, just not even like on purpose. So, but yeah, we'll get some videos, some TikToks made of Wade with the Piper golf balls. TMZ Sports
have model them.
Yeah, we'll have them model. We'll get them all dappered up. This is someone that was piping stuff, and he was piping drinks. Mr. Stetson Bennett made his way on down to Dallas, and he was arrested for public intoxication, which, let's be real, everybody's been in college. Everybody's been drunk in public. not a huge deal. It's a small little like misdemeanor, like slap on the wrist type of deal. But the thing that was the funniest was the memes that came out of it. It said he went down to Dallas because he wanted more TCU, but the cops covered him better than TCU's defense could. So
Oh my gosh.
Stetson Bennett
Got
is
him.
taking over Dallas right now. His he
Jeez.
was still drunk the next morning when they released him from the county jail. He was stumbling out of the door. So
The funniest thing, whenever after last year's national championship game, he had an interview the next morning on Good Morning
So
America,
hungover.
and this man was in another planet. He
Yeah.
didn't know where he was.
so hungover. So I almost forgot about it. Dog of the
The
week.
most important part.
Can't believe I almost forgot about dog of the week. So
We would have to fire you if you didn't even bring it up.
I was just so excited ragging on Wade. I forgot about dog of the week. Let's hit the graphic.
Wade is our dog of the week.
So, dog of the week. Futch, we'll let you start it off. Who you got?
So I'm gonna go with my guy from the Memphis Grizzlies. I'm going Ja Morant. Second consecutive game with a triple double, leading the way with 27, 15, and 12, which is a crazy stat line. That's 27 points, 15 assists, and 12 rebounds. That's a great performance for him. Anytime Ja's in the double area, Memphis is generally getting a win. No, just fantastic performance. And if he keeps it up and stays healthy, no doubt, I think he can be the MVP.
It'll go to LeBron. Don't kid yourself.
Oh gosh, don't ever say LeBron. No, LeBron, no chance. It probably, if anybody has a chance, it's Jokic to win it for 3 years in a row. Like,
Yeah, really.
that's about it.
Yeah.
But
Tyler, go ahead.
yeah, I just think fantastic season. The offense runs through Ja Morant, so he has to stay healthy for Memphis to make a NBA Finals run.
Tyler, who you got? Dog of the week.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with the NBA. I hate to do this to my Pels, but Giannis went off against the shorthanded Pelicans team. No BI, no CJ last night. And Giannis put up a 50-burger on us, 13 rebounds to go along with that. That was his second 50-point outing of the season. So the Greek Freak is my dog of the week.
Well, it's not hard when you have 18 points in the first quarter.
Yeah, that's true.
Mine, there's gonna be a lot of dogs of the week for me. Like I said, since our show last week was so close to this one, it was on Thursday. My parlay hit for the same tournament, and it's my man Max Homa. The dude like wasn't even talked about before the last day. You got Sam Ryder had the lead all week with John Rahm nipping at his heels. All of a sudden, Max Homa birdies like six of his first 7 holes on Saturday, and he's sitting in second place, and he's just hunting this man down, Sam Ryder. I mean, you would think after you had a kid, you become a little more soft. Max Homa had a kid. All he does is win. He's a cold-blooded assassin on the back nine. He's won 6 tournaments in his career. 5 of those wins have come in the past 23 months. Tied most with Roy McIlroy, who's the number 1 player in the world. So Max Homa, he was 5 shots down, ended up winning by I think 1 shot. And then my dog of the week last week was Ricky Fowler. He ended up finishing like top 5. He made the cut on the cut line and then finishes top 5. Like
I like
all
how
around.
Ricky Fowler making the top 5 as a dog of the week, because Ricky can't get any higher than top 5. Like, it's just like there's no
That's
hope
what I
for
said
Ricky.
last week. Can't get over the
Like,
hump, but hopefully
there
it's
are
this year.
busts in every single sport, and Ricky Fowler is the biggest
I don't know,
PGA
man.
Tour bust.
He's got a new swing coach. He's got a new swing. He made the cut, made me some money. Feeling good on Ricky this week. We're Fush, we'll have to get you involved in our cut bet that me and Wade have been doing.
Yeah,
That's where the money's being made at is golf. We gotta quit doing this football crap, okay? Because we can't pick football games.
Well, the waste management's coming up, and I definitely want to get into that.
Yeah, so I mean, betting the cut lines, you pick 4 guys, parlay them together, and maybe throw in like don't put this in your parlay, but throw in like a top 5 or a top 10 if you do some research. it's usually pretty profitable. So those are our dog of the week. That kind of ends the show until Wade just texted me. It said, "What if LeBron signed his own son to an NIL deal, and that's why he's so much higher than everybody else?" So think about that one. Let that one float around your brain this week coming forward. We don't have football next weekend. We got the Pro Bowl. So we'll preview the yay, right.
We'll recap the flag football game. Yeah, that sounds fun.
We'll
and
preview
see if
the
Mac
Super
Jones
Bowl.
is going to make it even worse gritty this upcoming weekend than it was last year.
Yeah. We'll preview the Super Bowl on next week's show, and it's almost college baseball season, guys. I think the four of us are just absolutely pumped about that. I'm excited for our LSU Tigers, Tyler. They're going to be something else this year. I mean, Futch is an honorary LSU fan, so I guess he can claim them. But I'm excited for college baseball season. We're going to have some fun talking about that. We'll have some fun things coming out because I'm sure y'all are going to go to tons of games.
Yep.
But I mean, that's all I got this week. Y'all got anything else, guys?
Yeah, really, really home on that. Yeah, I'm excited for the opening day of college baseball season. LSU, a lot of expectations, a lot of talent on the team. We'll see. I mean, hardly every team, we're preseason number one. We saw Ole Miss; they were preseason number one, and they went on that run at the end of the year. So definitely excited for that, and definitely a huge win tonight by the Lady Tigers in front of a hostile crowd, 15,000 plus in an all wideout game. So congratulations, Kim Mulkey. Hopefully they can keep on trucking and compete hopefully for a national championship this year.
Let's hope so. Futch, anything on your end?
Yep. I'm getting ready to put my tinfoil hat on and get ready for March Madness basketball. I have so many theories on who is going to lose in round one. So we'll have to hold on to that and see what happens. But yes, I'm getting ready to put my tinfoil hat on.
There we go.
Get ready for some hoops.
March is coming up soon. So, as always, Sports Scramble. We haven't been doing live shows lately. We've just been kind of hopping on here when we can. But the podcast is uploaded on Tuesday as well as the YouTube video. So, if you want to catch us as soon as we upload it, 7 a.m. Tuesday morning, you can be the first listener. College football coast to coast on Monday afternoons. And once SEC football returns, we'll have SEC talk back on Tuesday nights. That's all I got, guys. Y'all have a good week, and thank you, everyone, for listening. We hope y'all have a good one.